Hello everyone, this is Naidu from Techno Legal Forum. Last class we discussed about authentication. Authentication is the first stage of uh, AAA which we have discussed. Let me highlight this. Okay, yesterday we discussed about authentication. Today we are going to discuss about authorization. Okay, before we move to the authorization, let's quickly recap on authentication. Okay, so let's start here. A subject, which can be a user, a device, and a process. All these three have a unique identity. That identity which these devices, the subject claiming, has to be validated. Validated means it should be recognized. How it get recognized? For example, in a real world situation, suppose I myself call as Naidu. I am the one whom I am claiming as Naidu, who is going to validate. What I do, I will take out my Aadhaar card or my passport and I show it to him, because those things are already been verified by the central authorities. So they say that you are the one whom you claim to be. So similarly, in a computer world, even these things has to be whatever they claiming has to be identified. So how do they do it? By providing password, that is something you know, or using a smart card, that is something you have, or using fingerprint, something you are. This is a biometric. And fourth one, somewhere you are. So if you are logging from a particular, as we discussed last class, if you are logging from a particular location or using a specific device, so that is also a kind of a authentication. So all this will travel over the network, and the server which is there in the network to whom we are trying to prove, it will verify the username and the corresponding password. Similarly, username corresponding biometrics. So similarly for device, everything it will verify. If the match is found, the identity is claimed, that is unique username, unique device ID or IP address, or process ID or process name. They will be, their claim is verified. So that means you got an access to the resource. You are only got the access to resource. So that is where access granted is here. Now that ends the authentication part of the AAA framework. So we are done with first A. Today we are going to move to the second A, that is authorization. So once the access is granted, you are going to access the resource in that network. Okay, a resource can be a very simple example. You have a file server, you are connecting remotely, and you are accessing the file server. File server, you have a folders. In that folder, you might have saved the files, images, whatever it is. What permission you, or others also have shared, shared the data there, saved the data, and what permission you have on that folder. Let's say example, some users might have read only, some users have read and modify, some users have read, modify and delete. So these are the permissions which are given that to that resource. So I am giving the resource as an example, file server or a folder as an example. So it can be an application, it can be a database servers, it can be a remote printer, or any other device which is there in the network, where you use a username and password has been authenticated. You are going to perform something on that resource, so that all the permissions connected with that resource what level of permissions are, is all part of the authorization. Okay, we will see how authorization is implemented in next session. Okay, for now we'll pause here and see you then. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you.